The conversation we're looking at is regarding the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, that's the CSIR, hosted young experts on various cutting-edge technologies that they are developing to improve South Africa's healthcare system using fourth industrial revolution technologies. The CSIR says it's breaking new ground to confront the myriad of challenges through its Learning Factory. Through CSIR's Learning Factory, young people and educators can be equipped with the necessary 4IR technologies and infrastructure. The CSIR is a leading scientific and technology research organization that researches and develops transformative technologies to accelerate socioeconomic prosperity in South Africa. Now, to discuss this further, we are joined by Operations Manager at the CSIR's Center for Robotics and Future Production, Zamambo Afrika. Good to have you, Zamambo. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Good morning, Leanne, and good morning to your viewers. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. It really is a pleasure. So we know that the CSIR has established a learning factory to support South African industries in acquiring skills that is needed to maximize the benefits of this fourth industrial revolution. Perhaps you want to talk to us about how it's expected to benefit various industries in the country.
I think if we just take a little bit of a step back of why the Learning Factory was initially established. So initially when the Learning Factory was established, it was more an industry-focused approach, which was to prioritize the skills that underpin the critical sectors, which at that time it was automotive, manufacturing, and health. And through the years, we've then also included the education sector. And I think the important thing with the Learning Factory that the CSIR has put together is that it's a collaborative platform, which means it's aimed to support the skills development and innovation, which leverages opportunities within the 4R space. And collaborative in a form that the CSIR is open to work with the different industries, with the different education sectors in terms of collaborating, putting information in terms of what does the industry need and working together with the education sector. And I think with that regard, we have a collaboration that we've done through MESITA in terms of working with the TVETs in the Eastern Cape. And that is a mere pilot that we aim to roll out nationally in terms of identifying TVET in the different provinces, where we can then replicate this pilot to address or in terms of focusing in the education sector.
Yeah, and so important because, you know, the world is moving at a very, very fast rate, and it's actually a frighteningly fast rate, and we don't keep up with it. We're in big trouble. So we're now looking at various sectors, which is what this is all about. And let's talk about these young experts that you hosted on the various cutting-edge technologies that are being developed in South Africa to improve the healthcare system. How did you select them? What are the kind of things we're looking at?
So in terms of what we have from the Learning Factory perspective, so what we have now is we have a platform that we have enabled and allowed the different users to access. So it's a modular that we've put up, which is accessible to the various people, which is for free, and it can be accessed via learningfactory.co.za or through the CSIR website. So what we're trying to do is, where we partner with different industries, we then go in and access their training information, where we enable you to then put it onto our Learning Factory site, which then enables you to train your different employees or your field technicians and so on, where it aims to replicate in terms of from a traditional training way into a more of a digital perspective. So the aim of the Learning Factory is to basically enable the current skilled people to be ready for the future skills, but most importantly also to enable the development of the low-skilled workers so that they can also be ready to coexist with the new technologies that we are going to be rolling out with the 4R perspective, disruptive technologies that are coming into the industry. Yeah. So it's basically accessible to anyone. You know, it's accessible to anyone that is interested in learning in the 4R technologies that exist, whether it's your Internet of Things or whether it's your robotics. So it's really open to any of the users who have interest into it.
Yeah, and you know, the reality is that this is it's quite a scary conversation when you look at the future and whether or not we're keeping up with the future, because you know this is happening so fast that we've got AI, we've got jobs that are becoming redundant when we look at the development of technology, and this is something I'm very, very passionate about and looking at it. And my worry is, where are we as a country? I mean, you know, some say, and perhaps maybe you can agree or disagree here, but that South Africa is lagging very much so behind other countries in terms of equipping both educators and learners with skills for this fourth industrial revolution. And if you agree, why are we in this position?
I think I wouldn't really agree with that, because the reason why CSIR exists is to basically enable and improve the quality of South African lives, and also support the South African industry. And through this learning factory, which we're saying it's accessible to the industry, to the South Africans, to say, collaborate with us and let's put all the information and the training required for us to enable the youth, to enable our workforce to be ready for the 4R capabilities. So we're saying, as the CSIR, we have equipment, we have infrastructure, we have facilities which are open to the South African industry, to the South African youth, to the South African people to access, for us to be ready and to equip ourselves for this dimensional change of 4R with the different technologies. So we are basically coming in and say, collaborate with us, come to us, let's work together to make sure that we transition together into being ready into this whole 4R dimensional change that's happening. And I think we have to always bring it back to the South African context so that it assists us also to reduce or address the unemployment rate that we have in South Africa. So let's use these 4R technologies, this intervention, so that we equip ourselves and we be able to coexist with the dimensional changes that are coming in with the 4R technology that's being introduced.
I mean, it's quite amazing that, you know, the future of healthcare. I mean, when we look at things, it was always, and I think COVID spearheaded that in terms of pushing things forward, is that, you know, we always used to have to go in to see a doctor to be examined. Now you can have virtual consultations. You can also, you know, these wearables have become something that are extraordinary, that can detect health issues straight away. I'm not sure if mine is the best example, but these things can happen. You know, these are the futures that we are looking at, and it is important for the health of countries. But I suppose what we need to do is to encourage the youth to embrace this technology and also play a critical role in enhancing the country's technological convergence and its manufacturing capacity. How do we do that? We've always tried to reach you know, learners at school-going level to talk about science, technology, maths, all of those kind of subjects, and yet it doesn't, in a way, seem to be working, that interest in the standards that we need. So what do you think, and what are your views on this?
So I think what we, again, through the Learning Factory, like I said, we're currently doing a pilot with TVET in the Eastern Cape. So that's more from a higher education perspective, which we will be rolling out nationally. So from a basic Department of Education perspective, I think these tools that we have from a Learning Factory, we can then take it home and bring it to the different learners, but also we need to equip our educators, because we can bring all these new subjects and introduce all these technologies. If we don't also equip our educators and make sure that they are fully equipped to be able to move forward into this new dimension of 4R, then it always will leave a gap. And with the Learning Factory, one of the initiatives that we will be also looking into is to having a run-around bus or truck that we will then be able to install these different equipments that we have, your robots, your Internet of Things, so that it brings practicality of this jargons of that we're always talking about, of what 4R really is. So you have to bring it to context so that people can have a look and feel. So those are one of the technologies, one of the pilot or initiatives that we will be bringing in, so we can do drive arounds and literally give people the look and feel and go to different schools where we can also bring this into their space and literally see what it is and encourage them as well to say, you talk about Internet of Things, but what is that? You talk about robots, you talk about cobot. What does that really mean? So by doing this initiative, it helps to really put a picture into these 1,000 words and this really unthoughtful things that we talk about in terms of 4R. So those are the different initiatives that the CSIR is busy working on. Yeah. And in terms of the health sector, I think we have very strong capabilities within the CSIR in terms of developing devices which collaboratively with the industry, again, it can help to improve the health system in South Africa, but most importantly, help to reduce also the burden that's on the health system in South Africa.
Yeah, I love what the work that the CSIR does. It's amazing, and the fact that you're taking it out into communities and letting people actually see how this technology works is so important, because it's one thing you and I talking about it, but it sounds like universes away, but it's not. It's something that is happening right now here as we live and breathe. But the biggest problem is that people just, you want to attain to be a part of this, but with such a high unemployment rate in this country, skyrocketing food prices, we've got high inflation, people can't afford to, stay in school and carry on learning. You find that a lot of the youth go out and try and do menial jobs to try and make money. They can't even imagine that, 4IR exists. But how do we get this to help us, to make the future look better?
I think what's important, Leanne, is the industries need to collaborate. We need to collaborate. We need to work together in terms of addressing the unemployment and addressing the gaps that South Africa is facing. And we saying as CSIR, we play a fundamental role in terms of enabling the industry in doing that, whether from a manufacturing, whether from a health sector, whether from an automotive sector, and also in education. So again, I'm re-emphasizing to say we have facilities, we have equipment, we have infrastructure that if we collaborate together, that will yield jobs that can be created in order to try and reduce the unemployment rate in South Africa. And we also have within the CSIR, from the manufacturing side, we have an Industry Connect department that basically works working with different SMMEs in terms of helping them to grow them, to be able to be sustainable, but most importantly, to retain jobs in areas where they see they might be losing jobs. So, and they work together with the DSI. We're funded by the DSI in that initiative. So those are the opportunities that we're trying to communicate to South Africa, to the industry, to say we have all these facilities that are available and accessible to the industry. So we've been doing webinars since Monday, and today will be our fourth one, where we're really detailing the type of initiatives that we have, the type of partnership and collaboration models that we have, where we're saying, come into CSR, look at what is there, and let's work together so that we can create more employment. And most importantly, using the learning factory, which is an integral, which connects the different departments and divisions within CSIR, which will enable, this use of 4R to create more jobs, but to retain jobs as well, and also to upskill our low-skilled employees or workers.
All right. We'll have to leave it there for this morning, but thank you and good luck with all of it, all the work that you're doing. And I know that you also received a nice cash injection from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to drive these kind of skills and innovations, about 80 million rand. So good luck with it. Zamambo Afrika, who is operations manager at the CSIR Center for Robotics and Future Production, speaking about the young experts on various cutting-edge technologies that they're developing specifically to improve South Africa's healthcare systems.